Fuck all. You've never won, fuck all. You've never won, fuck all. And you know the rest.
Chelsea were a second-rate football club before Roman Abramovich. He came in and you brought every element of success you've ever had.
Thank you.
My derby hero was Harry Kane.
Ugh.
He scored a brace against Chelsea on the 1st of January 2015. The whole league...
Don't remember it, mate. Don't remember it.
The whole league considered him to be a form striker. He scored many goals in the run-up to that, but it was against what was the stingiest defence in the league at the time.
Oh, Harry Kane, the Arsenal supporter. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, he destroyed Gary Cahill that day. Yeah.
It was against the league's stingiest defence, and Harry Kane on that day proved to be one of the top strikers, not only in the league but Europe.
My derby hero, without a shadow of doubt, is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. We won 4-0, 2002. That was my first kind of real derby I went to. And he destroyed Spurs. He's a machine, he's a beast. I think Lampard got the 4th goal, but it was just a beautiful, lovely day watching this amazing, incredible player score goal after goal after goal and just destroy Spurs' defence, which is not difficult, to be honest. I remember the first time I went to see Chelsea was mid-90s, and going to a game against Tottenham, I'll never forget how the fans would always be kicking off outside the stadium. And the police patrolling the stadium there was huge, as it is now, especially on Derby Day. And I just thought, even being in my 20s then, growing up, thinking, I'm here to watch a beautiful game of football. I'm not here to fight and to see people, grown men, fight around a stadium. And that to me was a time when I thought, well, this rivalry that Chelsea and Spurs have has nothing to do with football sometimes.
Yeah, I think the hatred between Tottenham and Chelsea is palpable, and it stems from the hooligan element rather than what's happened on the pitch, because the rivalry really hasn't been there for a long time. But back in the 90s, it was horrendous.
Yeah, it's horrendous, and people hate Chelsea because of our success, but we really hate Tottenham because of the fans.
My favourite derby was the 5th of November 2006. We hadn't beaten Chelsea in 16 years. We weren't expected to beat that Mourinho side. You were going for the league. And we just turned it on and defended amazingly throughout the game.
It's funny because when you ask me what's my favourite derby against Spurs, you'll have a certain time and a certain game that you think, okay, we've done Chelsea and in the Mourinho era and they were going for the league and stuff. Because over the last 25 years, we've dominated beating you. There hasn't been one particular game that stood out.
I agree with that. I can understand that, and that's why I always prefer being the underdog.
Right.
Because those moments when you do beat your rivals are just special.
Absolutely.
And those moments of glory are similar to that of winning a cup. And people say it's a small team mentality, but there's nothing wrong with that, because there's glory in that. Chelsea coming to White Hart Lane is still a kind of the atmosphere is thick when you lot turn up, in the same way it's thick when West Ham turn up. And Arsenal, but it's different with Chelsea because their away support is still grassroots in the same way that West Ham's is, and Tottenham's support generally at home is grassroots as well. And what I mean by that is that there's that still traditional bitterness that kind of isn't there from fans that are new to the game. So there are 3 main games that we worry about. Chelsea's definitely one of those. So the electricity and the atmosphere going into that game is significant. And then at Chelsea, going to Chelsea is similar. I think you guys have suffered from a little bit of gentrification, and Tottenham have as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first time I went to Stamford Bridge to watch Spurs I was in my 20s, and I could sense the atmosphere around the stadium wasn't the same as if Newcastle came down to see us, And I'd see very, very few Spurs supporters around Fulham and Chelsea Broadway area wearing their scarves or wearing black and white, wearing their because they knew the crowd trouble that goes on. And like we're saying, the hatred between Chelsea and Spurs, it's all off the pitch. Obviously we want to win on the pitch, but the crowd trouble that goes on away from the ground is still prevalent. For me, Poyet was an amazing player at Chelsea, scored some incredible goals, and he was such a great character. And I think when he went to Spurs, I felt a little bit betrayed when he went there. But other than that, I don't think there's been too many. Although I do like the fact that your number 1 hero, Glenn Hoddle, became our manager very successfully.
I think Frank Arneson, our sporting director, moving from Tottenham to Chelsea after 1 year at the club, we had massive strides in that 1 year. Our buying policy changed. We were finding very obscure footballers from Europe that were coming in and doing an excellent job. You know, the spending was there. It looked like we're becoming a progressive club. And Abramovich came with his wad of money and just said, "Here's 5 million. We're taking this guy." Never heard from him again. He could still be working there. I don't know what the hell.
But can you blame him if someone said, "Here's 5 million"?
No, look, I don't. I understand from a business perspective why he did it, but he's still a scumbag.